he goes. It's broken again. What is this? It's not even broken in the same way that I was broken last night at 3 a.m. when I left it. Hey guys, this is Jan, and you're watching my little daily indie game dev update for Friday the 15th of May 2026. And as you can see, once again, I've broken my game trying to implement a current, whether it's the wind or water, and it breaks stuff. The good news is the running button always works. The bad news is the player's shadow has completely disappeared for no reason without me touching it. The good news is I got currents to work, or at least I did yesterday, and I realized there's a glitch over here that allows me to basically jump. Oh, that doesn't work anymore either. Yesterday it did. I jumped to the bottom well. Okay, time to give it a rest. Okay, this is just a frustration. So what did I do? Where is my mouse? Control tab back, and the mouse is here. The mouse is overreacting, and why? This is another glitch. I don't know why. It's super sensitive. I just don't. So many issues. So in a nutshell, what I did yesterday was I went through a whole bunch of code and cleaned it up, fixed water everywhere. For the most part, like it was pretty much functioning. I could jump in and out of the water, I can dive, I can swim. Then I started tweaking the swimming, so it was more like swimming. And I realized that even though I told Unreal Engine to set the movement to swimming, it wasn't actually listening. It was actually keeping the settings I have right here for walking. And so I started playing around with them a little bit more, and I just got this subtle like weight to the character when he starts moving, and same when he starts running. There's like this subtle, it's really nice. So I started playing with it some more, and I realized that I could manipulate the walking and the braking and the ground friction to create a little bit of a slide so it feels more like swimming. So once I had that in place, I was over the moon. I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm on the right track. Now let's implement the currents, right? Let's get back to trying to get water currents in those rivers. And it started off okay. Like it started off working fine, doing these things. And I think, yeah, I cleaned it up. I deleted everything, of course. If the player doesn't swim in the water, I first started creating everything on the tick of the player. So pushing the player along when he's in the current. And the first versions I had were working. However, the player lost all control. Like there was no moving against the current or anything like that. So it's like, okay, not bad for a first go, but I don't like this. So I started playing with different systems, everything except add force, to get it so that you can move against it. And eventually we started coming up with having a vector, multiplying that vector, and then also taking the player vector and doing something with that, and then combining those two to add input. And then that combination would then, what the player is doing plus the push against it, and then that together would feel like the current. And I did that on the tick, but when you do it on the tick of the player, which is so every 60 seconds, if it's a 60 frames a second game, this gets done. It started this jitter where the player was just jittering when in the water, and I really didn't like that. So the next version, and this is probably the third iteration of the current that I made yesterday, was using a timeline. When you're in the water in this particular collision box, it does its thing where there's current, correct? And then for the player, so you just saw, I'll just show you one more time what happens now when I dive. So when you dive, get the diving animation, and then it doesn't switch from the end of the diving animation into swimming anymore. It gets confused when I move, but when I don't move, it's the regular idle. So I started looking into the rules for the animation. Anything I touched made it worse. So now when I put the calculation for the current back in the game, I have a different problem, which is as follows. So now when I jump in, the calculations will take place that will feel like a current. See? And it's awesome. This is great. And there's like changes in the current. I love it. Except for the part where it completely breaks the dive into the water, which I was so proud of, and I couldn't figure that out. See, I did it. I got that glitch, so I can jump to this one. So now there's current here too. And then here you get pushed back again this way, right? You can walk out. It's so nice that running is now working everywhere. There was always this thing where sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And then using my bumper button to make the log appear, I've realized that the is holding action button down bool simply didn't always fire when you hold down the button. And I had a different bool for attack running, which is what this is, that did always fire. So I started using that one instead on the tick. Haven't had any problems since. Notice I just walked into the water through the collision. Also a new problem, didn't have that before. So let's speeding up swimming just a little bit. Oh, see, there's a current. Again, I love this. I just have to find a way to fix the dive, like get the dive to come back. And there's just something about this collision box, right? About this one, which is just over here. There's something about that when you're in this section. Or is it in here? Check again. This one. This is where it goes wrong. So you're in here. Maybe it's just check. So it switches to swimming, and I bet that is what turns off. I bet you that is what turns off the controls. So let's break that completely. Or maybe a delay here. Let's just break things first. Fingers crossed. So what should happen now? Okay, if you just think about it for a second. So he doesn't switch to swimming. Okay, nice. But then what does switch to swimming? If you are not swimming when you are here, go here. Let's do a delay. How many seconds? I don't know. Oh, if this is the fix, that would be awesome. That means going to bed and just having a good night's rest fixes everything. Ah, it's back. Problem's back. Okay. But what if we increase massively this delay? 1 second. It's funny how 1 second can feel like an eternity when you're playing a game in Unreal. Always surprises me. Like sometimes, like I remember doing like, oh, 2 seconds or 3 seconds. And it's like, oh wow, that feels like forever. Oh my god. Did I just fix it? Okay, the waterfall obviously has to have like a proper super fast current, right? These currents could be a bit slower. Oh my god. Alright, test it somewhere else. Oh, let's test it over here. Also, you can now go through those two pillars to fix the collision. Another thing I had was there's an area above here where you can go into the water on the right, and then if you stick to the edge of the screen, the camera box doesn't collide with the player. So fix that too. Okay, this is not great. Let's try that again. Okay. I fix it. Yes. I can quit now and play Crimson Desert. I haven't played for like 2 days. Oh my god. Just fix it. There's this thing that we need to address here, which is sometimes, a lot of times, you get more done in short bursts of focus than when you have hours at your disposal. So late last night, like I finished at like midnight, and I probably spent like 3 hours and like I bet you the last 2 hours I was just tweaking stuff and playing and tweaking stuff and playing and just breaking one thing after another and just not there anymore. And now I just fix it in like how long have I been recording? Yes. Alright. Next problem. What is the next problem? Okay, so the numbers need to be massaged, obviously. These currents are a bit too strong in some areas like over here, which is why I already set up 3 different timelines. And then I wonder if I can just collapse this up into a function. There's no timeline here. Let's find out, shall we? I haven't done this in a while. I had a problem just the other day where... Wait, not dive into the water? Okay, let's just make it... Oh, I'm on land. Nasty. Well, you can't always get what you want. Why is this one off now? And we're not out of the woods yet.